he made the ultimate sacrifice at the end of the last movie, and he did that because he wanted to, you know, not just save the world, but protect his friends. And then in this movie, the villain is absolutely undoing every bit of that sacrifice that he's made in going after them. And I think what's so cool about what Destin has been able to achieve is that the movie feels bigger than anything we've ever made before, while maintaining the kind of like New York roots, this heartfelt story between three, you know, of the bestest of friends. So I think that it's a real testament to who Destin is as a filmmaker.
I was really worried about it, to be honest with you. You know, tonally, it's so different, and I am, I think, as we all are, you know, enormously protective of the characters that we play and the fans that, you know, Frank means so much to, and you know, he's not a guy looking for any way out. He's not a guy looking for any lightness. So I was worried about it, and what I was met with was that exact same sort of concern and care and level of commitment from Tom and from Amy and from Destin. And we really dove into the problem head first. I felt really heard. I felt really you know, unbelievably collaborative. And I think what that resulted in is a very different Frank Castle in kind of all the best ways. And yeah, I can't wait to see it.
It's been great. I think a lot of like our earlier years in this series has been very formative, and we've grown a lot through a lot of like things that we've done. And I feel like I genuinely came in so green. I had no other job before this, and so it was very much my own learning experience. And I was very lucky to have everyone be supportive of me, and it's been just a really great journey for all of us. And you know, Ned and MJ's lives after the spell and after the third movie, they've kind of just grown up without Peter and kind of lived full lives, sadly, without him. And but Ned does sort of figure out how to track Spider-Man, and they've both kind of had like this weird feeling of like this missing link between them and Spider-Man. And so he's just naturally a curious guy, and he decides to track Spider-Man no matter how creepy that sounds. And hopefully he has some sort of closure with that. I think, just like a lot of superhero movies, a lot of things need to be experienced on big IMAX screens, and I think it's only fair that you would experience this adventure, this new story that we're making with Spider-Man on IMAX. So
it's a cautionary tale of the dangers of living your life on your own, and sometimes the bravest thing you can do is ask for help. So for me, getting your friends and family together to build a community and go and enjoy this movie in the theater is kind of the perfect way to experience this movie.
It was so surreal to think about. I've been a fan of the MCU and especially Spider-Man. So to be joining that world is, yeah, it's such an honor. I was introduced to Spider-Man through Tom's portrayal of Peter Parker. He was like the Spider-Man I grew up with. And I think it just like really speaks to my generation. And is they just do such a good job of like world building, and he's a character that is superhuman, but also just feels like a teenager at the same time. Just for the same reason that they should experience it in any theater, but to have that experience is just kind of like a level up. But yeah, anything that allows you to just be as immersed into the world as possible, I think, yeah, that's an experience you'll want to have.
Gosh, there's so many things about the action that excites me. When you think of this particular character, he has a very distinct set of powers that are very practical when you think about it. The acrobatics and the swinging has been done so well in so many movies. The fun challenge was how do we do it a little different? Working with Peng Zhang to bring his team on and coupling that with this incredible team here this incredible team in London who brought really new technology to allow us to do things that we've never done before. And when you have all of that on top of a number one actor, Tom Holland, who can do so many things that our stunt people, even that he does better than the stunt people, is like, it really doesn't get much better than that. Because there are, it's so rare to have an actor who can give a killer performance, but then to also have that actor be able to do some of the physical things that Tom can do is very extraordinary. It was actually a long process of trying to figure out how we visualize a villain who is able to jump from person to person. And that, we didn't want to rely on visual effects for that, if at all possible. And so I brought in my good friend, Nathan Kim, who is an amazing dancer and choreographer. I just asked, we gave him a bunch of dancers and put them in a room for a few days and said, can you just explore body movement and see if there's a way to translate this onto the screen? And they did a bunch of experiments, and we found a look that felt really good for this particular very, very odd power set. We shot this movie in 2 aspect ratios. We shot in 2:3:9 for our scope theaters, and we also shot specifically for IMAX. And I love the IMAX experience, and I think this movie in particular is made for the IMAX experience. There is, the IMAX frame, the IMAX size, the IMAX sound will give you an experience unlike anything else. And you will feel like you are standing on the edge of a skyscraper. You will feel the wind blowing through your hair. You will hear the sound of the web vibrating as you're swinging a couple hundred miles per hour through the city of New York. And yeah, see it in IMAX. See it on the biggest IMAX screen you can find.